Having played Assassin's Creed Mirage back when it came out on the Ubisoft launcher, I think I can give you a pretty good idea of the game, so you can see if it's worth it to you. The base price is 50 euros, but as is the case with all Ubisoft Steam releases, the game is likely gonna get a decent sale. So instead of those massive open worlds like in Valhalla, they have focused on one big city, that is Baghdad. And honestly, I said it back then, and I'll say it again. I think they did a really good job with it. The city has been designed by people who grew up in Baghdad, and it just shows. It's got tons of detail and authenticity. There are busy markets, all these tight alleyways, rooftop paths, and lots of vertical climbing opportunities. The lighting itself is also very atmospheric. What I think is especially cool is that NPCs actually react to what you're doing. They call guards if you steal stuff, comment on your climbing, and react when you're being suspicious. Removing your own wanted posters to lower your wanted level is also a thing. The gameplay is really centered around stealth this time. You can't just walk up to 5 guards and expect to win the fight. Instead, you've got to actually think like an assassin. Use rooftops, hide bodies, plan your approaches, make use of your tools. You've got this focus ability that lets you chain assassinations, which some people seem to hate, but I enjoyed it. Speaking of tools, there's stuff like throwing knives, smoke bombs and blow darts, which you can also individually upgrade. While unlocking these won't necessarily completely change how you approach encounters, it still leads to new opportunities and possibilities if you think outside the box. The main assassination missions are pretty cool. They give you a target and basically say, figure it out. You can talk to different people to gather info, find different paths, and create distractions.
The taxes have been paid.
The enemy AI isn't the brightest, but it is sufficient enough to make for some fun missions. It is unfortunate because this game would be off the charts for me if it had AI on the level of The Last of Us Part 2. When it comes to parkour, it's definitely faster and more fluid than the recent games, and it works really well with how the city is designed. But sometimes your character might not grab what you want him to, or might refuse to go through a window you just came through. It's still not as fluid as back then, but better than in games like Odyssey. The story itself is exactly what I expected. Nothing revolutionary, but it definitely had its moments, and it was enough to keep me interested and make me excited for the assassination missions. Following Basim's journey from street thief to master assassin was interesting to me. The skill tree itself is pretty basic but mostly useful stuff. There aren't really any filler skills or something. It's mostly things that actually help with your stealth. But the thing it doesn't really do is provide you with new ways to play. It mostly just makes the existing mechanics easier and more convenient. Its design is still sometimes flawed from a stealth perspective, since there is an upgrade that improves your X-ray vision to make things even simpler for you, which I have absolutely no idea why you would want to do that in a stealth game. So in my opinion, the game is worth it if you're okay with a shorter, more classic and not perfect Assassin's Creed experience, want to see the beautiful city of Baghdad, and don't mind some occasional Ubisoft jankiness. And that sentence concludes today's video. If your time was respected, a like or comment is very much appreciated.